Thanks, Lindsay, and we welcome you to the Infinity College basketball tip-off. As you look in on the swamp, on the baseball field, and right in the middle, and with the lights out, O'Connell Center in Gainesville, Florida. Our matchup, the Wildcats of Kentucky still in the top 25 against the Gators of Florida, definitely in need of a win. As you take a look at the SEC standings right now, there's still 5 teams with a legitimate shot to win the SEC regular season crown. Texas A&M and Kentucky tied in the top spot. The tiebreaker goes to the Aggies by virtue of an overtime win 10 days ago. And you see Florida's in a mix with 5 teams at 8-8 with the SEC tournament starting a week from tomorrow in Nashville. Welcome to Gainesville, everybody. Brad Nessler with my Hall of Fame partner, Dick Vitale. You know, it is Super Tuesday, man. And I know the primary for Florida doesn't start for 2 more weeks, and all the ballots haven't been counted. I'd say they need a win tonight, though, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Hey, there's the RPI, there's the BBI, I got the VBDI, the Vitale Ball Dome Index, and it says very clear, as my partner just said, they better win. The Gators need a win. I'm telling you, this game is vital, and for them to win, they're going to have to contain, I think, the best backcourt in basketball, Tyler Ulis and Mr. Murray.
Well, and so far, defense has been a problem for Florida in their 3-game losing streak. Those 2 guys, as you can see, part of the best backcourt, as Dick just said, in the country and definitely in the SEC. Coming off a disappointing loss, they gave up 96 points to LSU. Florida definitely needs a win. This has been the Infinity Tip-Off. Now let's see what happens when coaches hit the racetrack for this year's Infinity Coaches Charity Challenge. This is Super Tuesday, presented by Hotels.com, part of the SEC on ESPN. And again, we're at the O-Dome in Gainesville, Florida for our matchup tonight. As we take a look at our starting lineups for the Gators and the Wildcats. Tyler Ulis, Briscoe, Murray, Poitras, and Skal Labissiere is making his first start since December 19th against Ohio State. Chiozza, Allen, Robinson, Dorian Finney-Smith, one of the seniors, and John Egbunu. Our officials tonight, Orlando's Poole, Ron Gruber, Carl Hess. Here we go.
Hey, maybe Labissiere, that's one of the tweakings. I mean, John Calipari's tweaking again. He tweaked 2 years ago. Tweaking. His tweaking better be make shots.
He usually knows when to do it and why he's doing it. Here's Poitras cut off by Robinson. Right back into him with a hook, and it's knocked away.
They're trying to get him established early because he had a bad game against Vanderbilt. He's been up and down. He's had some great moments, and he's had some quiet moments.
Had a good game in his first game back from the injury against Alabama, and as Dick said, an off game after that. There's Kavon Allen. Backpedals, fires, rims out the jumper, and Labissiere with a rebound.
Florida's really struggled shooting the basketball this year. What a great pass. Tremendous look right there. Great penetration.
Kentucky with the opening basket by Poitras. Nice hook pass in the paint. And Dorian Finney-Smith evens it at 2.
Well, the senior right there, Dorian Finney-Smith, with the good backdoor cut. Good look. They have not executed well offensively this year, Florida. And now, as you said earlier, Brad, they have struggled defensively in the last 3 games.
3-game losing streak, and still, Joe Lunardi has him a team that can make the NCAA tournament should they win tonight. And offensively, Labissiere with a hook shot.
That's a big plus for them, getting any kind of scoring on the inside from him. They need point production from their baseline. Their bigs have not given them good production.
Early in the season, the freshman was a point producer, and then he really fell off. So did his minutes, and now here he is making a start tonight in Florida. Finney-Smith tried to go up and under and almost threw it away. 7 on the shot clock for Chiozza. Crossover was beautiful, but the shot's off the mark. Not the follow, though, by Egbunu.
Egbunu with that good offensive rebound. He had a big game against LSU.
22, a career high in that loss over the weekend. That's not Briscoe's shot, but they do want him to take it if he's open.
Yeah, Briscoe's not really a good perimeter shooter.
Tyler Ulis.
He's super.
He is.
Pound for pound. You know, Jerry Tippett said pound for pound, he's the best that he has seen this year. Jerry writes for the Lexington Herald.
Pound for pound, he might be one of the best that's ever played for Kentucky.
That's a good point, too.
Finney-Smith on the drive, the kick out. Robinson's going to take a 3 and got it.
Well, you know what? Finney Smith made that happen with the dribble penetration. Beat his guy off the bounce, and Robinson made it count.
Florida's first lead on a three-pointer by Robinson.
I'll tell you one thing. They look focused right now, Florida. They look like they're playing with purpose.
Poitras in close. Had it come out. Loose ball picked up. Labissiere, and he turns and buries it.
He's looking at Coach Calipari and says, Coach, why didn't I get a lot of playing time? Coach, I just needed minutes, Coach. Put me on the floor.
Because he needed to play like he was 6'11 instead of 5'11. Allen tried to tip in his own miss. Here's Robinson again. Will they get another shot? Egbunu. This will be a fifth attempt, and he missed a dunk. And a foul underneath.
John Calipari cannot be pleased with the rebounding effort right there by Kentucky. Allow him to get 4 or 5 opportunities.
Talked about Skal Labissiere early. His numbers were pretty impressive first 9 games, including a season high of 26, and then it really fell off.
As point production fell off and the minutes fell off. They go hand in hand.
Don't they ever? Egbunu at the free throw line. Florida is not a good free throw shooting team as a whole, and they've got some guys that really have a problem from the stripe.
They were last year in the conference. On the Billy Donovan year, they were last shooting free throws. They're next to last right now, and they're also on the bottom shooting threes and shooting from the perimeter. Even the twos are down. They've struggled offensively, to put it mildly.
They shoot a lot of threes. They just don't make a lot of threes. Here's Ulis for 3. Tips. Chiozza comes up with a loose ball.
Well, Ulis is 0 for 11 now in his last 2 games. Shooting threes.
Nice ball movement by the Gators. Look crisp, as Dick said.
Yeah, they got a little sharpness to them. You can see the little hunger. They notice a big game.
And that'll help. Egbunu underneath with a slam.
Power play on the inside. Physical. He's going to be a very good player, Brad. He's got some good skills. Transferred, came from South Florida. I think we're going to have a good one here tonight, buddy.
Murray.
He crushed them last time. First game they played 35. He made 8 threes, Mr. Murray.
8 out of 10 threes in that 35-point performance. And there, just what I said, that Isaiah Briscoe, it wasn't his shot. He knocks it down from the baseline. Well, 4th tie of the game.
That's not his strength. You were right about that.
Egbunu backing in against Humphries. And now fades across the lane, but did draw the foul. And again, Egbunu off to a good start. The big fella underneath. We're tied at 10.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Hotels.com. So simple, it's the obvious choice. And in part by Continental Tire, for what you do. And Taco Bell's new Quesalupa. It's going to be bigger than, well, everything.
Final home game for the Gators. That means senior celebration. Alex Murphy, who's injured, and Dorian Finney-Smith, the 2 seniors that were honored here with a big crowd and a standing ovation before the game. But more on that, let's check in. 3rd member of our team, Shannon Spake. Shannon.
Well, hi there, Brad. You know, Dorian Finney-Smith told me today, obviously, the last game here at the O-Dome, that's very important and emotional. But he said because they're playing Kentucky, it's just as important because of the history between these 2 teams. In fact, at one point during shoot-around today, he grabbed all of his guys and he said, listen, we know them, they know us. He pointed to his forehead and he said, who is mentally stronger? That could be the difference in the game. You guys have already mentioned how sharp they look early on.
And Finney-Smith's been a really good player here in Gainesville. A couple of years ago, he was 6th man of the year in the conference. He's been their most consistent performer throughout his senior season.
Well, he's very versatile, can play a lot of places. You know, in that game, LSU, as Shannon talked about, looking sharp, they really were very lethargic in that game.
Yep.
Really lethargic, especially early in the game. Kid Blakeney killed him to about 32, a Florida kid who's going to be a heck of a player eventually at LSU on a regular basis.
Talking with Mike White at the shoot-around today, and I said, do you even have to tell these guys what this game means tonight? And he said, you know, we put so many eggs in a basket against LSU. They even put a video together, a kind of a one shining moment video. And he said, we went out and laid an egg on defense. I mean, they gave up 96 points. So he said, I'm not sure what I'm going to say tonight because I'm at a little bit of a loss because we put so much into the LSU game.
Well, you know, he told me that they've worked strictly since that game. Every hour, defense, defense, defense.
Wow. Hook shot. And Labissière's got 6 to lead Kentucky in scoring.
And he's throwing up now. He's going down. He's slapping the hands. You know, he came in. He was projected to be one of the top 2 picks in the NBA draft. And he has really slid down.
Eddie Smith missed the outside jumper. And the possession arrow is going to stay on Florida's end on the battle for the rebound.
I hope he stays in school. He needs another year, Brad.
Absolutely.
He's got to get physically stronger, tougher.
Here's a little taste of what he can do, though.
Yeah, he's got skills. He's got good agility on the inside, great size. You can't teach that size, buddy.
This is the best I've seen him play
Absolutely.
in a 5.5-minute stretch, and this is about the 6th time I've seen him play, I think.
I'll tell you one thing, John Calipari, I think feels that way too. That's why he's on the floor playing.
Davon Allen is yet to score, averaging a little over 11 a game. Still hasn't.
Tough shot right there because he couldn't get the angle on the backboard.
Euless, nice pass to Briscoe, and now the corner to Murray. Got it for 3, and he scored a 3 in every game this year.
You know, you got to find him right away. You can't give help. They were giving help to try to stop the ball, but you got to really locate and find Murray because he can light it up.
Just when Florida had it a 10-8 game with their first lead of the year against Kentucky, they never led in the game back in Lexington, and now all of a sudden they're down 4.
It was blowout city down there in Lexington. Mike White told me we would never, ever end the game.
Casey Hill draws a foul from Euless. That's Tyler's first. Mike in his first year after a successful stint as a head coach at Louisiana Tech.
I think he's going to do a good job here. I really
do
do.
too.
I know he's replacing a real legend in Billy Donovan. So tough to follow. But the personnel, really, you got to remember, this team was under 500 last year.
Yeah. They went 16-17, 8-10 in conference play.
Spoke to Billy's dad here. He's sitting at the game. Mr. Donovan.
Billy's son, you mean?
Billy's son.
He was on the plane with me yesterday. That's why I knew you were talking about. Poitras on the break. And he walked with it. And that negates a good-looking fast break.
Looked like he got out in transition. Look like we're going to get a layup right here. But he took the extra step. There's the ball coming out transition. There's the catch. Oh, too many steps. He'll get away with that next year if he plays in the NBA.
Kentucky only had 5 turnovers over the weekend, and it didn't help them much in a loss to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt playing as well as anybody in the conference right now.
The reason because all of a sudden Damian Jones has come alive.
As he ever. Nice drive by Dorian Finney-Smith and one. Chance for a 3-point play.
Dorian Finney-Smith trying to have a big game here in his senior year. Last year he's a little changed. Now he's going to right down the lane, gets to the gap, uses the left hand. These rims, I don't know, they seem to be soft rims. The ball bounces. I think they're shooter's rims. They really are. First meeting.
That would
24.
benefit you then from the free throw line. Right?
Yeah, I need help. You know, Kentucky also, Brad, they're looking to get that double bye. And right now they don't have it. They have to beat either Florida or LSU to get it. I don't think anybody's going to beat them down in Rupp Arena. They've been dominant at home.
Perfect at 16-0 at Rupp. They haven't lost there, in fact, in 2 years ago in overtime against Arkansas. Murray slipped a little bit, but the extra pass and up and under to Poitras. Nice ball movement by Kentucky.
Yeah, really finding the open man, making the extra pass, sharing the basketball. They're going to be a very dangerous team in the tournament if they get any production at all from the baseline.
And tonight they have. Long 3 and a brick. Thrown up by Justin Leon. And we're going to have a foul on Devin Walker. Now Kentucky 5-8 on the road, but perfect at home. So a huge difference as far as points per game, percentage.
Lost a couple of tough ones on the road. That one at Kansas was a tough loss. And the one was taken away from them, I felt, Texas A&M. I didn't think there should have been any technical call on Humphries. He didn't do anything to deliberately or intent try to be unsportsmanlike. He was just a happy camper at the moment.
Wouldn't it be interesting and maybe devastating if that technical call changes the seeding in the SEC tournament? And it will if, in fact, A&M and Kentucky win out, because the tiebreaker goes to Texas A&M. And then you look back and you go, wait a minute, that game was in overtime. It was down
9.4
seconds. It could have been free throws one way. Instead, it was Humphreys with his 5th foul, fouled out.
A little fancy right there. Tyler got a little fancy. He was anticipating where he's at. He's got a great.
This is what we were talking about. This is the final 9 seconds, as Dick mentioned. And in his enthusiasm, Humphrey slams the ball. That is, it is Rule 10, Section 3, if you want to get technical. That's Pat Adams who called the technical. That one you could have left alone. He was devastated because he had a great game. He had 12 rebounds in the game.
Sometimes you got to use common sense. You got to know the score of the game, and you got to know the purpose. He did not do that with any displeasure to the official.
Now that doesn't mean that Kentucky would have necessarily won the game, but they would have had the advantage of going to the free throw line, not having their big man foul out. And all I'm saying is, if it comes down to that call, you kind of wish the guys on the court, not the guys in the stripes, decide the game. Enough said about that. We'll wait and see how that pans out, though, when we get to Nashville.
Labissiere getting a lot of playing time right now.
And a touch foul on Casey Hill, trying to stay with Tyler Ulis.
Tough to stay with him. Tough to stay with that little guy.
Kentucky by 5 right now with 11:39 remaining. And Richards going to have his postseason awards when we come back to Gainesville in a minute.
Move that was for him.
I remember that night you and Brent did that unbelievable game against Kansas, and he came out and was the post-game interview for SportsCenter. I've never seen a kid in a loss handle himself better, and he had a sensational night offensively.
He had 46 that night, lost a heartbreaker to Kansas. And Kansas coming out strong now. They blew out last night Texas.
Poitras jump hook rebounded by Devon Walker.
They need Poitras, Kentucky. If they're going to advance in tournament play, he's going to have to be the positive force for them inside. A lot of experience and a guy very strong and talented.
Chiozza drilled himself into a little bit of trouble, but they bring it back out on top. 15 to shoot. Robinson trying to go through a double team. Chiozza for 3. And Labissiere with a rebound.
They're shooting 28% right now, Florida. Not going to get it done against this Kentucky team. Labissiere has been very positive here in the first half.
And the guy that's running the show backs up Tyler Ulis.
He's an orchestra leader.
And offensive foul on Labissiere. Stuck his hip out there on the screen. Picks up his foul. We check in with Shannon.
Well, a lot of the communication from Mike White in that last huddle was defensively. He said, defensively, we can absolutely take some charges, guys. He also said, keep your eye on Murray. We like the way we're defending him, but we have to protect the rim. And he also wants more communication. He said, we're not talking enough on some of the rotations. But I love the fact that Alex Murphy, the senior, he's down there almost like a coach on that bench talking to his guys before the coach comes over.
Shannon, communication vital. Oh, you got a score there. Great defensive play, though. Lee came over with the shot block.
Second of the night for Marcus Lee. Ulis. Jumper goes for Tyler Ulis. He's got 6.
What a big year he's had. He's got a heart. He's a leader. He wants to win. He's got passion.
I still think he's a player of the year in the conference. And that's not taking anything away from your man, Ben Simmons, who's your diaper dandy.
I would agree with you on that. I would totally agree with you for player of the year in the conference. For what he's done for this team. I mean, we love Ben. He's a great rebounder, passer. I just would like to see him shoot the ball a lot better and be a little more hungry offensively.
Ulis number 1 in minutes played, number 1 in assists. Scores almost 17 a game. Number 2 free throw shooter in the conference and leads Kentucky in steals. It's not a bad season. And loose ball scramble. The officials are all looking at each other.
And the other thing he has, Brad.
And they can't decide, so it's going to go as a jump ball in a possession area.
Hey, he's got that winner's mentality. He gets so upset when they don't play well. He doesn't mean anything to his teammates, but he wants to win.
And
I went off Poitras. I think it's Poitras. You got 2 eyes. I got 1. What do you think?
Mine are any better than your one. I'm glad I didn't have to call that. At any rate, it officially goes as Florida's first turnover, though, and they'll take that halfway through the first half with only 1 miscue. And that was hustling for the ball and a possession error. Ulis for 3 and got it. Might have gotten fouled as he hit it, too. He looked at the official, and he still knocked it down.
I tell you what, he's feeling it right now. He's in a good rhythm. He's got a good tempo right now that he's playing at.
Egbunu off the front of the iron with a hook, and Humphries will clear it for Kentucky. They're up by 10 on a 9-0 run.
Struggling shooting the basketball. That's been a story to theme all year for them. Making shots.
Ulis. And a push underneath is going to be Marcus Lee. That'll be his second. Well, coming up Saturday at 6:30 on ESPN, the rematch. College basketball's greatest rivalry, North Carolina and Duke. The first one was a beauty. This one takes us to Cameron Indoor. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV, also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
You know, North Carolina can solve problems in the ACC and get the number one seed. All they got to do is beat Duke right there at Duke. They do that, they have it, even though Miami's right there tied with them. And Virginia, I'll have Virginia after that game with Davey O'Brien. 8:30 playing Louisville.
There's an easy feed. Nice look from Hill to Egbunu. Egbunu's got 8.
Egbunu on the inside. I mean, those teams all could end up tied, especially if North Carolina gets beat. But if they win, they solve the problem.
Murray trying to get it to Poitras. Picks up the loose ball, though, and gets it back to Ulis. And now it's Briscoe.
So when Briscoe starts making that shot from the perimeter, they become even a more lethal team.
No doubt about it. And the Nets going to make an adjustment here. So that swish went through from Isaiah Briscoe. Both his shots have come on jumpers from the outside.
Yeah, from the wing. But right now, Mike White's kids are doing a good job keeping the ball away from Murray, but other people are hurting him. Labissiere, right now you got Briscoe hurting him.
Brad, we were talking earlier today about Isaiah Briscoe. You know, Tyler Ulis said this week he has to catch it and just shoot it. He said he's here for a reason. He used to make those shots in high school. He just has to think that he can make it and just take the shot.
Well, he averaged 21 a game in high school, so he was a good scorer. I'm not sure necessarily a good shooter because he's a terrible free throw shooter.
You know what, Brad? A lot of these kids, when Simmons, Briscoe, they dominate so much in high school by getting to the rim anytime they want that I don't think they put the kind of time and effort into shooting the ball.
Casey Hill got into the tall timbers in there, lost it out of bounds. It'll still be Florida ball.
They're so good and so talented to beat guys off the bounce at ease. I don't know about you, but I think this place is awful quiet. Normally when we hear the Rowdy Reptiles, this place is rocking.
Now that'll help him a little bit. Egbunu over Humphries.
Egbunu needs a little help now. The guy's got to go help and play some defense.
He's 4 out of 5, and it's 4 dunks for Egbunu. Here's Murray, got around Hill, high up the window, and the follows by Humphries.
Nice play by Humphries right there. Give him a little minutes off the bench, got a lot of size, and what a recruiting class they're bringing in next year. Kentucky is going to be a dominant class.
Egbunu through some traffic, got tripped by either Poitras or Humphries. One of the two is going to pick up the foul. 10-point Kentucky lead. Joey Brackets is in the bunker. He's drawing things up. We'll draw with him when we come back. Their numbers 17 and 12, tied with 4 other teams at 8 and 8. You see the rest of their resume and their strength of schedule. And Joe Lunardi's in the Infinity Bracket bunker. Joe, I know a couple weeks ago this looked like a lock type of team, but they've lost 3 straight. Where do you have them right now?
Florida is the very last at-large team on the board right now, Brad. We won't keep them there unless they can come back and beat the Cats tonight in Gainesville.
You know, what about Alabama? Take a look at Alabama in the conference, Dr. Joe.
They're very, very close. They're just out at this point, Dick. I'm looking for some separation in that middle of the SEC. I don't think a 500 SEC record this year gets it done.
Give me the locks in the conference.
Well, you're looking at one of them, obviously, in Kentucky. Texas A&M will be in for sure. And South Carolina, even though their numbers aren't great, I think their record is overwhelmingly good, and they'll be there as well.
LSU with a 5-point win over Florida over the weekend, Joe, and that had to help their cause at least a little bit.
Kept them breathing. But, you know, we've seen a team like Vanderbilt make a push here. They're very close to being a lock, in my view. And I think those 4 plus 1 of this Florida, Alabama, LSU bunch will emerge either in this last week of the regular season or more likely with an upset or two in the SEC tournament.
Poitras with a slam.
You know, Poitras did a great play there, but it was the look by Ulis. They're really effective right now. They're very efficient, shooting over 60%. Kentucky playing really well offensively.
Joe, we'll check back in with you again and let you watch some of the other hoops that are going on tonight.
You got it.
Foul as Robinson took the outside jumper, and he'll go to the free throw line. And there's Joe Lunardi's SEC bracketology so far. 4 seed for Kentucky, A&M a 5, South Carolina, Vandy. Vandy's probably playing along with Kentucky about as well as anybody in the conference right now, and a lot of people would say they should have done that a lot earlier in the season, but they had some injury issues and that type of thing, and their last week and a half or so has been very good.
Yeah, you know, Vanderbilt projected earlier in the season. Everybody was raving about them, and they faltered, but they've really come on strong at the right time of the year, and I think they could be a dangerous team come tournament time. They got perimeter play, they got guys that can shoot the 3, and their post player now, Jones, is playing like everyone thought he would play.
Yep. Chioza comes in. Casey Hill goes out. This place is quiet right now. The lead is stretched out to 14.
You know, it's tough to win when you go 3 for 7 on the free throw line. You're 1 for 5 shooting threes. You're shooting less than 30%. It's tough to win. I mean, you're at home right now. You got to make some shots.
And Kentucky, meanwhile, hasn't missed back-to-back shots so far. Think about that for a second from the field. If you know that at least every other time you come down the floor, you're going to score, you're going to win a lot of games.
You know, we take for granted sometimes, people, the amazing job John Calipari's done in Kentucky. He's been absolutely sensational.
Humphreys trying to put it back in on a miss from Murray, and a tough rebound for Finney Smith.
There aren't many people that can handle that job.
Going to Hall of Fame back in September. Briscoe picks up his first foul. Our aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. You look in at the sports complex. O-Dome looks kind of dark compared to the baseball field and Ben Hill Griffin Stadium and the rest, but this is going to be renovated starting as soon as the last game. Should they be in the NIT here, they have to wait another week or so, but 35 years of memories. Dick and I have been doing about 25 of those together in this building, and as he said, it can get rowdy at times with the Reptiles behind us, and they made a lot of noise in warm-ups for Kentucky, not making quite as much noise behind us right now.
Well, they've certainly had a lot of great basketball here over the years. Hey, 100 years right now of Florida hoops. And right now, coming out by Pat Dooley, who does a great job with Gatorsports.com. He's coming out with 100 best players in order in the history of Florida basketball.
That'll be fun to see.
Yeah, I guarantee there'll be some names out by the name of Maxwell and Neil Walk, and you'll think about Noah and Horford.
Back-to-back championships under Billy Donovan those years.
Special.
But this place is going to undergo a $65 million renovation.
Did you write out the check?
Your kind of cash, man. Your kind of cash.
Wow, Jeremy Foley.
Anyway, they hope to have it done by late December. And they're going to play probably a couple of games in Jacksonville, probably a couple in Orlando. They're in a Disney tournament. They might play in Tampa. Then they're hoping they can get everything done by the time the SEC conference season starts next year in early 17. So
Allen makes a big 3. They got to make some threes, Brad. They got to tickle that twine.
Well, they got it back to 10 at the 5:15 mark. Ulis on a teardrop. They got a little piece of that, and then a foul following the missed shot.
Size bothered him on that drive. Bolted his shot. He wanted a foul.
Ulis picks up his second. He's not usually a guy that gets in foul trouble. It'll be interesting if John is going to pull him with 5:12 to go. He doesn't want his point guard and his floor general to get another foul, I wouldn't think. And with that, here comes Dominique Hawkins. Or he will here in a moment.
by last year's Kentucky team. We don't have a dominant team right now. It's been unpredictability has been the theme all year in college basketball. But last year, Kentucky had that dominant team. And you look at some of those guys, what they're doing in the NBA, you can understand why.
Right.
I mean, Karl Anthony Towns is a lock. I mean, you got a scoop if somebody else is the Rookie of the Year.
Hey, Brad, I love this. So Tyler Ulis, when Coach Calipari was just trying to get him out of the game, he's pleading his case, and Cal said to him, I can't play you with two. Of course, Tyler Ulis went down and sat on the bench. He wants to stay in this game.
He loves playing, Shannon. He loves playing.
Here's Briscoe on a drive, and a good one it is. He's got 6.
That's a big-time drive right there. Came out of New Jersey, was rated so high on the Scholastic ranks. He's a good defensive player, too.
Denny Smith on the drive against Poitras, who rejected it. Ball never got to the rim, so shot clock continues to wind down at 10. Three-pointer baseline. Again, the three not helping him right now. Finney Smith had it blocked again, this time by Murray.
Tell you one thing, bro, we can't say anything about being lethargic. They're playing hard, they're trying, they're focusing, they're just not making shots, and that's been a dilemma all year.
We'll get another opportunity here. Chiozza will inbound on the baseline with 4:29 in the half and 27 on the shot clock. Kayvon Allen got free from everybody.
Oh.
He was so open he missed the shot.
Wow, he had himself a bad angle. They've got him quiet right now. He's been 11-point per game scorer. He gets open up here, lack of communication. Wide open right there. Look at the layup. Make the layup.
I think it scared him. Nobody on him.
Yeah, he was shocked. He said, hey, I'm sort of playing the game now. I'm by myself.
Kavarius Hayes goes back to the free throw line where he missed his first two. He's a 45% free throw shooter.
Ouch.
And we can tell why.
Got to get that rotation. I was working yesterday on the shot for Jim Harbaugh. I had him tuck his elbow. I said, Jim, you've really picked the right sport, football. He's training down in where I live, and I went down and watched him. Well, he is some kind of coach.
Oh, yeah. That's got the SEC a little bit up in arms.
Well, they can do it, too. It's illegal.
They just didn't think about it. That's what's made them mad. Anyway, 4 days of spring football practices in Florida for Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines has kind of opened the eyes of the schools around the SEC.
Going a little zone right now. Came out in the man-to-man. Little 2-3 zone.
Just don't let this guy loose. Murray.
That's the one positive they've done. They have found Murray and kept him quiet.
Poitras in some traffic. Egbunu got the best of that battle.
Briscoe's got a nice first half here. Taking charge at the point now.
Murray almost walked with it. Fans trying to make some noise for this Florida defense. They did get the entry pass into Poitras, who missed in close. And on the battle for the rebound, possession arrow is going to go Florida's way. With 3:45 remaining in the first half. Still, though, Kentucky with a double-digit lead.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by DirecTV. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV. Call 1-800-DIRECTV. And London Has Fallen, in theaters everywhere Friday.
Down with the guys, which that'll be 3 minutes and 45 seconds from now. It's Derek Willis, who's missed the last 2 games with an ankle injury, and it was an ugly ankle.
Yep.
Looking ankle, and was in a boot, but at practice today at the shoot-around, he looked very good. I asked Coach Calipari, is he going to play? He said, nah, I don't think so. I don't think tonight, but they're getting him ready. And between Poitras when he was hurt and then Willis, they really haven't had everybody on deck for a while, and they feel like they're going to be a lot stronger when everybody is ready to go health-wise.
He was looking at the stat sheet. See him there looking at the stat sheet? He's studying it. He has really been playing well for them, too. So they miss his size, his ability to shoot the ball as well.
He's their #1 3-point shooter as far as percentage from outside the arc.
You know, Kentucky hasn't shot a free throw yet.
No, that's
They haven't
pretty
shot a
odd.
free throw. It's hard to understand.
Robinson straight up with a jumper. Nice look by Devin Robinson. He's got 6.
But they got it under 10. They got to go in, try to locker room with some momentum. get this crowd alive. This 2-3 zone maybe is going to help them. They better make sure they find Murray.
They can get it down to 5 or 6. I think they'd be ecstatic going to the locker room.
Can't let Murray find the gap of that zone.
Again, Briscoe running things at the point with Ulis on the bench with 2 fouls. And Chiozza picks up a personal. NBA Wednesday doubleheader presented by State Farm coming up on ESPN. Spurs are back home where they're perfect at home this season, 28-0. They'll take on the Pistons at 8. Then at 10:30, Billy Donovan's Thunder takes on the Clippers. Coverage starts. NBA Countdown charged by Dew at 7. Both games streaming live on Watch ESPN on the ESPN app. Oklahoma City has probably played Steph Curry and those guys about as well as anybody this year. They can't get over that hump and beat them, but nobody else can either.
I'll tell you one thing, Curry's been amazing. Billy D's done a heck of a job. First year in the NBA. I know the players really like him. He's a great communicator. He's got a nice duo to work with, too, with Durant and Westbrook.
Yep.
Curry's the best shooter I have ever seen.
That's saying something. Murray lost the handle. Kentucky with a turnover.
They're a little different team with Ulis on the sideline.
You're right.
You know, Ulis on the sideline, you take away the engine.
Now they can get it down to 6. Oop, that shot blocked by Lee, though. That's his 3rd block shot of the half. Had that gone, it would have been a 6-point game. Ulis back out there now.
They got to get the engine back on the floor.
And you know that John Calipari is saying, you be careful out there on defense. Do your thing on offense, but don't pick up a 3rd foul.
What a player he's come. I don't think a lot of people believe he would be this good. I know everybody thought he'd be good, but he's not just good. He's that good.
Well, he came on last year, and you had the Twins out there, of course, playing, so he got limited minutes, but it changed the whole dynamic of how Kentucky played last year in the last month and a half of the season because of his speed and just his leadership out there.
And also Booker, too. He and Booker were a nice combination. And Booker's shooting ability and his penetration ability.
He goes from having Booker to having Jamal Murray. That's not bad, is it?
Not a bad combo. And next year they're going to get some big-time players as well. John Calipari is a recruiting machine, and he's got a great product to sell. If you could sell Massachusetts the way he sold Mass, with their budget that they had, right now his budget, you might just say, unlimited.
Well, 22 straight years of 20 wins or more between UMass and Memphis and here. Again, Florida having all kinds of trouble with their free throw shooting. Again, it's still an opening here. They can score a basket.
Make that layup. You're going to make that layup, Brad. You're going to make that layup.
Murray going the other way. Left it for Humphries, and he left it out of bounds.
They had 2 opportunities in 2 possessions. They missed it down to Ibuno, and also right now, look at Mike White. He's working that sideline.
Mike's going, I didn't miss this many at Ole Miss in 3 years of starting.
Look at that. You're going to make that layup.
Chiozza can only smile after missing that transition layup. They've got another opportunity right here, though, to cut into the lead. Just under 2 to go in the half. Allen's been a little bit quiet. And he just knocked down his 2nd jump shot.
Little exchange up on top. Wide open in the lane. And he gets the deuce. And back in the game.
Down to 6 with 90 seconds to play in the half. And Casey Hill with a steal and a breakaway. And Hill throws it in. That'll fire up the crowd.
He's not going to miss that layup. He's not going to miss that layup. He was jumping like my guy, Mr. Nessler. He was a high riser. Oh, the Rowdy Reptiles love it. They love it.
A 12-2 run, Dick, by Florida.
What a great play right here defensively. Did a tremendous job. We're going to watch this right here. Freeze it, freeze it. Right here. Watch this. Here he comes. Going to be, watch this right now. There's the deflection, and off he goes, baby. He's like American Pharaoh. A little jab, speed, quickness.
The lead is down to 4. Murray for 3.
They
off the mark. Florida with a rebound.
Brad, they lost their tempo when Ulis went out with those 2 fouls.
Kayvon Allen in some traffic. And he got another one to go, and we're down to 2. 14-2 run. Kentucky led by 14. Their leads cut to a bucket with 50 seconds to play in the half.
Talk about momentum. Talk about Uncle Mo swinging over. They got it now, the Gators.
Murray off the mark again. Rebound was Florida's, and they lost it. 2 guys on the ball, and Egbunu and Robinson, and they lose it on the baseline. So a new shot clock for Kentucky and 10 extra seconds remaining. 40.5, 30 on the shot clock.
Yeah, remember this now. Florida's trying to apply the Rocky Marciano knockout punch. They want to use that right haymaker, and a big knockout punch would be. Oh!
How about that feed to Marcus Lee by Tyler Ulis?
He does a great job up in the sky, Lee. He's going to be a little more consistent as a player. Blocks shots well, has a lot of potential.
About a 2-second difference shot clock and game clock right now. So we said that if the Gators could get it down to 5, they'd be happy at halftime. They've got an opportunity to get it a little bit closer than that as Mike White takes a timeout with just under 20 seconds remaining in the half. Now this was a great look by Tyler Ulis, getting it to the big fella on a pick and roll down on the baseline.
Yeah, a little 2-man game. There's the flip up on top, the catch, and the finish. Perfect execution.
Mentioned Tyler Ulis closing in on 200 assists on the single season and on pace to break John Wall's record of 241.
What a pro he's become, John Wall.
So we said earlier that it was not a normal O-Dome crowd. It just erupted up here behind us, didn't it?
Well, that's what, successful play does. If you're efficient, you play well, they're going to get all fired up. Look at these young guys. They want something to cheer about. It's pretty tough to cheer when you're shooting brick after brick.
More importantly for Florida, they're very much back in the game with a half and 19.7 to go in a vital game as far as their NCAA hopes.
They want to knock you out, Mr. Lenardi's, brackets. They're right now the last one in, he said. He told us earlier tonight. He said the last one in. And he said if they lose on their home floor, they could be out.
Let's see what Florida does in the final 10 seconds. Dorian Finney-Smith guarded by Lee. He's going to take a long 3. I don't know about that one, but Ulis with a rebound, and Kentucky might be able to score. Ulis, he had it online. So Florida can't score, but neither can Kentucky as the half comes to a close.
Dorian Finney-Smith tried to be like Curry out there shooting that long-range three, but they shoot the ball a little different.
Quite a bit of a difference between Jamal Murray's first game this year and this one tonight. Shannon is with Mike White.
Well, you certainly got the crowd into this game in the closing minutes. What has been the biggest difference for you guys as you close this half?
They've got us in the game. Our crowd's terrific. Really appreciative for these guys to send our seniors out the right way. We got a few stops. We finished in the paint a couple times. Kayvon got himself going. Johnny Vunu's been terrific. We missed too many close ones, and Kentucky's been really good offensively.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you, Shannon.
So still very much a ball game now at halftime. Kentucky on the road leading 36-32 over the Florida Gators. Time for the Jeep halftime report. Adnan, Seth, Jay, and Joe all standing by. Guys. The SEC on ESPN back in Gainesville, Florida at O'Connell Center. It looked like a simple plan for Kentucky. They were running away with this game at one point, shooting 62% from the floor. They've come back to earth down to 50. Florida went up from the low 20s to 34%. And so we got a 4-point game as we're just about set to start the second half. Welcome back, everybody. Brad Nessler along with Dick Vitale. If you'd have told Mike White, I'm going to be down 14 in the first half. Our guys are going to shoot 34%, and you're only down 4. I think he'd take it.
Well, 6 for 16 from the free throw line. On the other side, Kentucky hasn't shot a free throw. That's amazing. They have not shot a free throw. But you look at Florida, 6 for 16. What saved them was forcing turnovers at the end and converting off the turnovers for layups.
They went for a 14-4 run to make this the game it is. In the second half, Kentucky and Alex Poythress right in front of us to inbound here at O'Connell Center. Again, renovation starts as early as tomorrow on this building, and I'm not going to miss the 2 feet of space behind Dick and I when they renovate.
We have no room to get on camera. Zone defense helped them a little too. Now they're back to playing.
Poitras down in the corner has to bring it back on top with 10 on the shot clock. Briscoe to Murray with 5 to shoot. Murray's going to have to hustle to get one away. And nice Florida defense as it's a shot clock violation to start the second half for Kentucky. And we check in with Shannon.
Well, Brad, Dick just mentioned the number one thing on John Calipari's mind when he walked out of that locker room. It's that goose egg in the free throw column. He said, we have no free throws, and Florida has 16. He said, we have to get more aggressive. We can't win like this.
The first meeting, they went 8 for 14 from the free throw line, but they only had 1 in the second half. So it's been a dry spell for them against the Gators from the stripe. Allen on a runner. And Labissiere, who started strong in this game, comes up with a first rebound and then gets fouled.
Well, you know, in that first matchup, Murray had 35, and he made 8 threes. In this game, they have really done a great job keeping the ball away from Murray, who's a terrific player, has been having a great second half of the year here for Kentucky.
Nice job by Labissiere today with 6 points and 7 boards already in the ballgame.
You look at Murray's 1 for 6, so Florida's achieved what they wanted to negate him. He said that he told me that was their priority.
And Briscoe's fouled on his way to the basket by Robinson.
Let's face reality, this is a good Kentucky team, but this is not a great Kentucky team. This is not one of the Kentucky teams that we've seen become accustomed to under John Calipari. When you think about the Anthony Davis team, you think about certainly John Wall's team, you think about last year, Karl Anthony Towns and company.
38 straight to start the season before the loss in the Final Four to Wisconsin for Kentucky. And Briscoe's impressed me tonight with his jump shot. And Shannon mentioned it earlier. Tyler Ulis just told him, just catch it and shoot it. And he's done that better tonight. He's got 8 points, and they're all from the outside.
He was out here early, really working on the shot with the coaches, really working on it. You may get rewarded when you work hard.
Finney Smith, tough catch inside by Agbunu. I didn't know if he had enough room to get a shot away.
Agbunu with that little reverse.
And
I'm not wearing pants, it says. I'm not wearing pants. I can read that.
That's what the sign says. You are wearing pants.
I'm wearing pants.
Yes.
You sure?
Pretty positive.
We've tried to point out to you people how important the game is to Florida, especially looking to play the NCAA at the NIT. They better get a W here.
Either that or they better make a big run in Nashville next week.
Right, exactly. They'll have that chance as well.
Labissiere rimmed out the jumper. It'll be a push on the baseline, and it's going to go against Florida.
Well, Labissiere looked really nice on that jump shot, the way he squared his body. It didn't go down, but he had a nice release, tucked the elbow in.
Dorian Finney-Smith playing at his final game, barring a postseason NIT game here. Picks up the foul. Ulis. Labissiere, the hook shot. Robinson pulls it down. Kayvon Allen,
nice
tough
pass.
feed into Agbunu.
Nice two-man play, way to lead him inside. I like Agbunu. I think Agbunu is a kid that has great potential. Mike White working that sideline. Look how animated he is.
Down to 2 again.
His dad, the AD at Duke.
Poitras in traffic. And a follow by Labissiere. Stuffs it home.
Labissiere is the best I've seen him, Brad. The best I have seen him.
He's got 8 points and 8 rebounds right now.
Got to work on that body, getting stronger.
And here he comes up with a loose ball. Florida with a turnover. Labissiere this time fouled by Dorian Finney-Smith.
What I like about him right now, he is really being aggressive. He wants the ball. He posts up inside right now. He wants the ball in the lane. There's Poitras right there. There's Labissiere with the foul on the offensive rebound.
That last foul was on Chiozza, not on Dorian Finney-Smith.
First time on the foul line for Kentucky.
Yep.
First free throw of the night.
And he's a 70% free throw shooter, so they waste their first opportunity. But to get 3 minutes into the second half without a free throw, it's a little different.
But I've had a chance to speak to him I'm telling you, he's a beautiful kid. He really is. Came in with all those expectations, put a lot of pressure on himself. I think he went through a process where mentally, you get down. You start reading the paper, you hear people talk all the time, how you're not achieving. John working on his mind right now. John is a master. He could teach at Harvard psychology. He can. I mean, he's a psychological in the world of basketball. Hoopologist. He's a hoopologist in psychology.
You could teach math there, couldn't you?
Yeah, 2 and 2 is 4. Oh, nice supposed to move inside.
Egbunu had another one blocked by Lee.
Lee came from the help side.
Allen for 3. A little too strong, and it's Poitras on the fly on the rebound. Briscoe continuing to shoot from the outside. Kayvon Allen will clear the miss. Chiozza. They clear things out for Dorian Finney-Smith. He gets it to Egbunu, who's been their offense tonight.
Oh, the big guy. That's a power dunk, Brad.
16.
Power dunk for the big. It's coming off that 22-point game against LSU. They shot 68% in the second half against LSU, but they fell so far behind.
Murray pull up from the elbow, and he got one to go. He hasn't had a lot of good looks, courtesy of the Florida defense.
He was 1 for 7 prior to that shot.
Allen needs some help right now. That is a tough spot. They might have to call a timeout. And they're going to say it's off Chiozza and Kentucky ball.
Not a good job offensively right there. Spacing was horrible. They really didn't do a good job.
But Egbunu has been strong tonight on the inside. He is living inside the rim for Florida. Let's take a look at today's fan movement, brought to you by Degree Motion Sense. And on a good day, and this has been a pretty good day, no better place to be than a Rowdy Reptile. And considering that it is spring break, it's a packed house for the student body who decided not to go anywhere right now.
And the weather's been absolutely beautiful in the 70s.
Well, let's check in with Shannon.
Well, Brad, we can't live without our activity trackers. Well, Degree and Unilever, they've given 25 fans here tonight one of these bracelets. And what it's doing is it's basically monitoring their motion to see how the fan experience goes in a place like this. It's actually the first time they've done it in a college basketball venue. They've tried it at Wimbledon and some other events. They're going to do it at the Final Four as well. They're going to give fans from each of the teams just to see the overall experience. But they thought this would be a great place. Why? Well, because of the Gator Chomp, of course.
Should have put one on Dick Vitale because he's more active than the players are for the most part, especially the hour and a half before the game.
Hey, Labissiere with another play right there. A little jump shot off a 2-man game. He's double figures.
It's been a while since he has been. Here's Kayvon Allen on the outside. Where they need is outside shooting, and it's been a little bit off tonight. Casey Hill, though, keeps it alive out in front of the Florida bench. Dorian Finney-Smith. Threes keep firing up there, and they don't go in.
Tell you one thing, it's been a struggle all year shooting the ball. The effort's been supreme. They're playing hard. They're playing with passion, intensity. They just have a difficult time shooting the ball.
There goes one on the other end.
I'll tell you, that combination. Give me a better backcourt than Ulis and Murray. You know what I like about Murray right now? Struggling shooting, but he's not trying to take shots, bad shots.
Florida's going to take a timeout because the lead has gone back to double digits, courtesy of Tyler Ulis with that last three-pointer. His second one of the night. 12 points for Tyler Ulis, including this last one. That's put his team back in front by 10. Far tonight, 12.6 assists for this guy, Dick.
He's done it all. There he is, the little fadeaway jump shot. There he's on the top of the circle. He's a giant with the rock in his hands. He makes things happen. Not only shooting the ball, his penetration ability, his leadership ability, his defensive toughness. He's a winner. He's got that special winner's mentality. He can play for me anytime. I revealed early in the game my first team All-American team, my All-Rose-Royce team, and he will be my point guard.
Those 6 assists, this is 23 straight games where he's had at least 4 assists in a game. Murray's been held in check 30 points under what he had the first go around, but we're not done yet either. 14:07 remaining in the ball game.
Well, right now up 10 in their losses with Kentucky. The other teams have shot more free throws than them.
Another dunk, the 7th of the night by Egbunu.
It's a Duncan show right inside. It's a Duncan show. Power dunks. Egbunu, transfer, came from South Florida. He's an old Marco Polo. He's a traveling man. They got to get some stop.
10 on the shot clock. Hawkins on the outside, and he buries a 3.
I'll tell you one thing. What I love about Ewell is his vision. He always knows where everyone is on the floor. Head is up at all times, dribbling the ball for you young kids. Never looking at bouncing the ball, looking at the floor.
He had 11 assists in the last matchup between these two teams. 1 off his career high, and he's got 7 right now. Robinson spins, came up short. And here comes Ulis, and he'll slow things down until the 2 big guys get in place in the front court.
You can see how much he enjoys playing. He enjoys having that ball in his hands. He knows he's the man. He knows that they want to put it in his hands.
The lob underneath, off the mark, and it's going to be Florida ball.
Got a little danger time right now for the Gators.
Now coming up Saturday at 6:30 on ESPN, the rematch, a great game between Carolina and Duke. The first time now it moves to Cameron Indoor. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV, also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Brad Nessler, Dick Vitale, Shannon Spake at O'Connell Center in Gainesville on this Super Tuesday. Game 1 of 2. We'll move to the Big Ten when we're done and see if Indiana can win the Big Ten title outright.
All they got to do is win that game. Jim Harbaugh told me, my brother-in-law, nice backdoor cut. You got to score.
And it finally rolls in for Dorian Finney-Smith. It's been a long dry spell for him. 7 points.
Nice little movement without the ball. Jim Harbaugh said yesterday when I talked to him, he said, hey, my brother-in-law, he's going to win the Big Ten 2 in the last 4 years. That's when he was PR guy.
Tom Crean is Jim and John's brother-in-law. And Casey Hill made a tough catch for Murray there with 9 to shoot. Labissiere straight up with it. Rebound battle is won by one of the smaller guys. Chioza just hung with it.
Chioza looking to penetrate.
Egbunu asking for the ball against Lee. And he got pushed by Lee.
No doubt about it. Good call.
3rd foul on Marcus Lee. Just under 12 minutes remaining in regulation. Florida keeps it in single digits.
Dick, back to you guys.
All right, Adnan, thanks. If that holds, and it looks like it will, Vanderbilt will have won 4 straight games and be really probably the hottest team in the SEC right now.
Nice entry inside. All the points are coming in the paint. Hey, Seth said he had Vanderbilt early in the year as the Final Four. Hey, you didn't tell us that earlier in the year when they were struggling. Come on, Seth. Come on.
Egbunu is going to the free throw line. He's got 20 points. And there, the SEC, according to Joe, Kentucky, A&M, South Carolina, Vandy, and Florida. And Florida, the last of the last 4 in. But they need this win tonight because they've lost 3 straight.
Very simple right now. They're down 7. They're right now 2 for 11 shooting threes. That's 18%. They're 6 for 17 on the free throw line. 28 of their 42 points have come from the inside.
I told you earlier they're not a good free throw shooting team, but that's not good at all.
It's actually 30 out of 44 now.
Murray got an open look and nails the 3.
He's so poised and so patient. Doesn't force shots, waits for them to come. He's a big-time player. There's no question he's a lottery selection.
Only 8 points, but the 2 3-pointers tonight have given him 93 for the season, which is a single-season freshman record for Kentucky, as Casey Hill scored for the Gators on the drive with 11 to play. And kind of a rare turnover. Marcus Lee had Tyler Ulis going one way, and he almost threw it right to his coach. This is a guy you can't leave unguarded.
I mean, they're leaving the guy wide open. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, how could you leave him open? I mean, there he is right there. Wow, wide open. You got to find him. That has been their great asset. The one thing they've done well is they have found him. Oh, that's just... Oh, that right inside. Didn't see him.
And Hill's pushed on his way to the basket by Murray.
But they're going to make free throws. I mean, 6 for 17, it's not going to get it done.
Well, Casey Hill has missed his only one tonight, and he's a 55% free throw shooter. So there's not a lot to choose from out there. The best guy would be Chiozza or Kayvon Allen from the line, and after that, it gets kind of shaky for Florida. And they're fouling Labissiere.
No doubt about it, making contact. They're not going to get away with that, especially when the points of emphasis are physical play on the interior.
That's 3 on the big guy.
But you know what's really great, though? They want to see him get aggressive. If you're going to get a foul like that, that might be good for him. Getting a little aggressive on the inside.
And Chiozza.
Wide open. Wide open. You're down right now. 8, you got to make that shot.
And Robinson adds to the problem by fouling Poitras after the rebound. After tonight's game between Indiana and Iowa, stick around for Sports Center tonight. John Anderson, Steve Levy, all the news and sports, spring training, NHL, NBA, college basketball. Sports Center at night tonight right here on ESPN, also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
I know one thing, Sage Steele's going to be going wild. She loves her Hoosiers, and the Hoosiers can wrap up the Big Ten with a W tonight over Iowa, who lost to Ohio State.
Almost 10 to go and under 10 on the shot clock for Ulis.
Look at the way he takes charge.
Murray, they're trying to keep him from getting a shot away. Got one anyway, missed it, and shot clock violation. And John Calipari thought it hit the rim with 1, but it doesn't matter. They got the ball anyway.
I thought it hit the rim too, did you?
Looked like it with 1 to go, but
yeah,
it's going to be Florida ball. Midway, second half. An 8-point lead for Kentucky. Florida got the rebound on that. Karam off the front of the iron anyway. That's why they've got the ball. Hill this time should go to the free throw line. Fouled on the last drive. And now Labissiere's got 4.
Should bring Lee in.
He'll be coming in after this first free throw by Casey Hill. 6'1" junior, averaging 8 points a game. I shouldn't have said anything about his free throw shooting. He buried that one.
He came in with a big-time reputation. He was a high school All-American. But see, in high school, he was able, because of his quickness and his great ball handling skills, just beat guys and get down for layups. Come to college, you got to make an adjustment.
1 of 2.
That's got to drive the coach nuts. Trying to get back in the game, your team can't shoot 50% on the free throw line, and you played against an elite program like Kentucky.
Ulis draws a foul from Allen. You take a look outside. Beautiful day here in Gainesville, Florida. Gorgeous sunshine. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Take a little dip over there.
Yeah, it's going to be like this all week, though, they said the weather. Unbelievable.
The Wildcats, comfortable 7-point lead. They led by as many as 14 in the first half. They had a 4-point lead at halftime. Had it cut to 2 by the Gators early in the half.
Trying to get some shots from Murray. But Florida does a great job rotating, giving help on him.
Murray, I should say, trying to create his own shot. He did draw a foul by Casey Hill.
Okay, anytime you got a good backcourt, you got a chance to win. And Florida has a sensational backcourt. They had any kind of point production inside. And a guy like Towns and one of the big people. You know, last year, you think about that team, really Corey Stein.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Early in the year, early in the conference season, I should say, Dick, having seen Jamal Murray, and I thought, you know what, he's just a guy that can get a spot and be a spot-up jump shooter. But he has really come on. He showed right there he can create his own shot or at least draw a foul. But he's a guy that's been going to the basket a little bit more. He's still got the great stroke from the outside. And I said to John Calipari today at shoot around, I said, have you ever had a guy that came that far with his game? And he said, you're right. And he thought about it and he said, maybe Brandon Knight. But he said, I agree with you 100%. His game on both ends, taking less shots, scoring more points, playing better defense, knowing how to play without the ball, all those things. He's really done a nice job.
Well, that's a key, too. Playing without the ball, playing part of the system. He was terrific, though, and certainly for Canada in the
He scored 26.4 average in February. That's the highest single month total since Jody Meeks in January of 2009 scored 28 a game.
What a kick out. What a kick
There's
out.
the guy we're talking about. Great feed and an even better three-pointer.
The little guy, what music they make together, Ulis and Murray. He found his buddy right in the corner, saying another assist. There's a TO, baby. I know my grandson's watching the game, and he likes Ulis, and he's probably screaming and yelling, Connor. Hey, there he is. Watch him, Connor. There he goes. In transition, there goes your guy Ulis. He's going to kick it out. There's the dish. And there is nothing but nylon. NBA time.
94th three-pointer of the year for that young man. And he scored the last 8 for Kentucky. Shannon.
Yeah, Brad, he shoots the arrow. You know, I talked to him today about his growth. You guys were just mentioning it. He told me the game slowed down. Better decision-making. I'm not forcing things. Playing within myself. He's just keeping it simple. A simple three is looking pretty good.
It is.
I just love the combination. I think those two guys, and they haven't had a whole lot of help on the inside. If they had inside help, defenses couldn't come out and challenge them like they did.
Egbunu, is that 8 dunks? It is.
That's their whole offense, Brad. That's their whole offense.
He's just matched his career high of what he scored in the loss to LSU over the weekend. He's up to 22. And virtually all of them have come on slams on the inside. Murray had it stripped, got it back, and got it to Ulis.
Everything for them has been in the paint.
And Allen plays Ulis well. He had to throw up a shot with 3 on the shot clock. And Florida can get it back to single digits if they score. Dorian Finney-Smith way outside. Here's Murray. Behind the back, dishes to Ulis. The extra pass to Poitras.
Oh, what tremendous basketball there. You got to be pleased with that if you're John Calipari and all the Big Blue Nation. They got to love that, sharing the basketball. Poitras has got to join Ulis and Murray and be their guy in the inside to give them point production.
That almost looked like a 3-man weave with nobody out there. At practice, that was picture perfect. Eight to shoot for Florida, trailing by a dozen. Hill on a runner. Finney-Smith crashed the boards and drew a foul from Hawkins. 61-49, Kentucky with the lead, 7:15 to play.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Hotels.com. So simple, it's the obvious choice. And in part by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Kentucky 61-49 over Florida. John Egbunu, who's matched a career high, should get a job at Dunkin' Donuts starting tomorrow. I mean, watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Promise you're all different. 5, 6, 7, and 8.
8 dunks, man. Dunkin' Donuts. I love Dunkin' Donuts.
That's incredible. Matched his career high of what he had against LSU, 22 points. The only problem is he hasn't gotten enough help from everybody else.
No help at all making shots. Shooting so poorly as a team. And then we really compound that scenario. I mean, I'm telling you a fact here, people. 7 for 19 on the free throw line. 7 for 19.
Not going to cut it. Let's check in with Shannon.
You know, this week it's been a lot about confidence with this Kentucky team. John Calipari telling his guys you have to play with confidence, and that was a direct message to Marcus Lee during that last time out. He said you've just got to play confident, knowing what you're doing. But guys, I love being inside that huddle and watching the way John Calipari directly tells Tyler Ulis everything that's going to go on. I mean, you talk about him being the floor general, him being the coach on the floor, and you can see it during those timeouts.
You better watch out, Shannon, when you go in that huddle, because he may say, Shannon, get in the game, get in the game. Put you on the floor.
Dorian Finney-Smith knocks down both free throws. A rarity for Florida tonight from the stripe.
9 for 21. Now they rotate into the zone. Come out of the man-to-man. Patience.
Murray, corner 3. Got it.
You got to find him. You got to find him. He's 1 for 6 in the first half. He's starting to heat it up.
Ulis with another assist. Murray another rebound. Ulis has a double-double tonight. 12 points, 10 assists. Make it 11.
He knows where to go with the ball, man. He sees somebody open, he's going to find them.
One off his career high. He's matched what he did against Florida back in Lexington. And the lead has swelled to 15. That is the biggest of the nights.
Kentucky really playing well. Playing well on the road here tonight. Something they have not done during the course of the year. They have struggled on the road. Suffered a couple of tough losses. There's that diagonal pass. Finds Lee. And then Mr. Murray is wide open. And I don't mean Bill Murray now, because I don't know, he can't shoot. There it is. His son, by the way, is an assistant at Xavier, Bill Murray.
Ulis, 11 assists as an individual. Florida has 10 assists as a team tonight. Dick, this is the 14th time in the last 15 games that Tyler Ulis has accounted for 30 or more points between his own offense and the dimes he's laying out for his teammates. Don't forget, brackets open on Sunday, March 13th. Fill out your bracket at ESPN.com/bracket. or download the Tournament Challenge app.
I think people got to consider him for that MVP big time. I mean, I really do. You look at his numbers across the board and the team being successful, and he's the catalyst. And the reason, I mean, we love Ben Simmons. We want to make that very clear. But this kid has been absolutely so valuable to Kentucky.
78 assists in the last 8 games. That's incredible. Leading the SEC in assists. He's well over the 200 mark, and as I mentioned, John Wall has the Kentucky record, and he's on pace to break that. He might be on pace to shatter it if he keeps playing like he has been. Another dunk, number 9, and a new career high for John Agbunu.
9 dunks on the interior. Imagine if he played during the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar era at UCLA. No dunks. No dunks. They did that deliberately to stop Lou Alcindor, but they couldn't stop him. He developed the sky.
Couldn't stop him in the NBA either. Poitras will go to the free throw line.
One of the greatest players of all time.
It was Agbunu with the foul. 66 dunks on the year, which is a single season record.
There's no question that right now that coaching staff's got to find shooters in their recruiting. They got to find shooters. I don't care how hard you play and how hard and tough you do defensively. You got to make shots. You can't make shots, you're not winning. There's no excuse for a major college team shooting like they do on the free throw line. There's no excuse for it. We're Division I at the highest level.
Not that they don't work at it. It's just one of those things that it's strange.
And it's not like why, because really this happened even last year. They were the worst free throw shooting team in the conference.
And big collision with Poitras and Robinson. Robinson will go to the free throw line. Poitras picks up his 4th. So 2 of the big guys have a little bit of foul issues. Labissiere has 4, Poitras has 4, and Lee has 3.
You know, it's tough to come from behind when you're not able to make perimeter shots, and that's another part of your game that's not there, making the 3.
Robinson, a 72% free throw shooter, so he's one of the better guys to have at the line. He's 2 out of 3 tonight. And again, the bubble watch, Joe Lunardi, Florida, the last 4 in, but that may change if they lose this game, and right now they're down 14.
Ulis has got more assists than the entire Florida team. And right now on the free throw line, they're like 10 for 22. And Robinson converts.
8 for Robinson at the 5.5-minute mark. 13 points, Kentucky lead.
3 perimeter players have played well. Briscoe, Murray, and Ulis.
Ulis wraps the pass around to Briscoe, the extra toss to Poitras, and that's 2 times in the last 3 trips down court. The 3 guys have touched it, and the guy that had the best opportunity to score did.
Well, you know, usually if you make the extra pass and get a better shot, you're going to win games. And now Poitras a little involved here. Was not involved at all against Vanderbilt.
Didn't score in the Vandy game. Again, watch the ball moon of Kentucky.
They like playing as a team. Going to share the basketball. There's 1. Now here comes 2. And here comes 3. Thank you. Unmolested shot, wide open.
And on the other end, Dorian Finney-Smith going to the free throw line in his final game here at the O-Dome.
Big Blue Nation, man, do they have a passion, love for the team? They'll flock it down here in Nashville, I'll tell you that. Last year I got my big kiss in Nashville from Ashley. I wonder if she's going to be there.
I'm sure she will.
Wow.
And going to be a foul on Robinson, trying to come up with a steal.
I'm going to tell you who I would vote for Coach of the Year, though. I was just thinking about this here in the conference. My choice. You may agree, disagree. My choice. Knowing what they had coming into the season and watching them how they've improved.
Avery Johnson.
Yeah, Alabama.
Yep.
Alabama. It's only the beginning. I thought Paul Feinbaum was on a show today. This is only the beginning because he's a masterful salesman, great personality, and he's going to recruit big-time players to Tuscaloosa. In fact, we may see where basketball is number one. And Nick Saban, no,
come on, don't get crazy, all right? It could be 1A, but let's not get carried away. Briscoe, 2 perfect free throws between his outside shooting tonight and the fact that he's a 40% free throw shooter. And he's got a 10-point game.
He's done a nice job, made 3 big shots in the league.
Yep. Biggest lead of the night now for Kentucky as they're just 4:40 away from at least temporarily going to the head of the class by themselves in the SEC. Robinson with a 3-pointer, his second of the night.
Yeah, Robinson with a big 3 there, made 2 free throws as well. Very rare we see nothing but nylon coming out of the Gators' hands.
Bruno got poked in the eye or something. I think it'll matter on his field goal percentage because he'll probably be 10 inches away from the rim if he scores again.
You know, Brad, we're going to have such a treat this year in a journey to Houston trying to get there because of the balance that exists and the unpredictability that exists.
Well, this conference starting next week in Nashville, if somebody gets hot at the right time, I think anybody can win there too. It would help if you're in the top 4 to get the double buys, obviously.
And that's what they're going to get tonight by winning this game. If they hold this lead, Kentucky gets a double bye. They become one of the 4.
John Calipari said at the shoot-around today, pulled the guys together at the end of practice and said, listen, we're playing for a seed. Let's be honest, we're playing for a seed. And Mike White, on the other hand, playing desperately and telling me I don't know if I have any answers tonight because we put so much effort beforehand into the LSU game about how big that was and then played so poorly defensively, giving up 96 points. Tonight they played better defense, but the offense has been bewildering as far as trying to score on the outside.
He told me on the phone yesterday, he said, we really challenged offensively. I mean, there's no question that we got to go back to stressing our defense because that carried us earlier in the year. Had that nice win where they did make shots, beating a good West Virginia team.
It's probably their best win maybe of the year.
In our best wins for Kentucky, they had that big win over Duke. Really dominated that game, really contained Grayson Allen, held Duke to 41% in that game. Then they had to win over Louisville. By the way, big story today, and you've seen on ESPN.com, but Ian O'Connor, will it be the last home game for Rick Pitino tonight in Louisville? Or will it be his last game down in Charlottesville where Dave O'Brien will be with me down there on this Saturday at 8:30? I talked to Rick today, and really, he's just going to do as usual. He said, hey, I'm most likely coming back. He said, we got a tremendous team coming in next year. We're going to be really good. He said, but I always take a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to just study and analyze the whole scenario. He has one thing going for him big time. The AD wants him, and the president wants him. And number 3, he can coach.
Ulis pull up 15-footer. Ripped out by Kavarius Hayes. Florida needs offense, and they need it in a hurry to make a game of this. And where is it going to come from? The exception of Egbunu, they couldn't find any tonight. Going to be a foul on Kentucky with 3:28 to go in the ball game, and Kentucky leading by 13. Tyler Ulis, the assist man, and playing against the assist man here.
Hey, trying to guard me once we split the trap. They tried to trap me, and I split them. They couldn't believe it.
And that's what he did to Poitras, who split a double team And Marcus Lee, who got backdoor. And
Great.
Jamal Murray, who got free on the baseline.
Great vision. Look at the vision. Always knows where all his teammates are. Perfect spacing. Probably Murray celebrating out there. Little hot dog right now. There's an All-American team I picked earlier. What a team that would be. Hield, Brogdon, Simmons, Ulis, and Valentine.
Not bad.
All great guys, too, really. I just wish, like I said, Ben Simmons got a little more hungrier.
Casey Hill was 6 on the night.
I want to make it very clear that All-American team has nothing to do with projections on NBA draft. I mean, there are a lot of guys projected way ahead of them that made the second, third team. That was based on strictly production as a college player this year.
Brogdon had enough production that Virginia came from a very close game, and I think from behind at one time to beat Clemson tonight. Robinson, another foul.
Oh, they won tonight?
They won. 64-57. Speaking of ACC hoops, Saturday 6:30 Eastern. North Carolina and Duke in the rematch at Cameron Indoor. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
Well, it's interesting you said that they won today, because now if Duke were to beat North Carolina, I think I got this right, if Duke were to beat North Carolina and Virginia wins at home Saturday, Virginia, because they beat North Carolina during the regular season, would get the edge on them. Now, also factor in there is Miami, who plays Notre Dame and Virginia Tech, and they're right now tied with North Carolina with 4 losses as well. And if they get tied with Virginia, they would get the edge because Miami beat Virginia.
Well, I hope you're right, because that was a mouthful right there.
Hey, pretty good for
yeah,
76
pretty good,
years old.
yeah.
Pretty good memory, huh? Wow, I'm proud of myself, Brad.
3 on the way, and with 3 to go. No, it's just inside the 3-point line. Chioza's first points of the night.
He plays hard. You can't fault to the kid in terms of his effort. He scraps. He gets the most. Oh, got a steal.
Finney Smith will flush this one on the other end.
They stripped the ball out of Ulis. He can't believe it.
It's back to single digits. I don't know if that's saying much, but with 2:43 left, it's a 9-point game.
It's a lot of time right now. They made it happen off their defense. And that's what they did in the first half. They were down big, and their defense forced some turnovers and some layups.
And that's a rarity, too, that Tyler Ulis on the dribble, those long arms of Finney Smith, just poked it between his legs and then went coast to coast for the dunk. But now it's Briscoe back at the free throw line. They would just as soon have him there normally, but tonight he's shooting 80% from the stripe.
He's got that nice stroke tonight. You know, Avery Johnson said, obviously he played in the league. And he said, I played against guys in there, size like Spud Webb and those people.
Yeah.
He said, hey, I'm going to tell you right now, Tyler Ulis is going to play at the next level.
Well, it's gotten to the point now where a lot of people think he's playing at the next level next year. And that includes his coach, who said after a game last week, we'll need a new point guard for next year. So if John Calipari thinks that, Tyler Ulis probably thinks that likewise. But boy, would I like to see him stick around.
Yes, as broadcasters like to see these great players remain in school.
His comparison with John Wall, and look at the numbers, almost identical.
John Wall is such a talent. He is so terrific. Getting better and better every year in the NBA. What a class they are coming in next year. Incredible. You think about Malik Monk, Bam Adebayo. You think about Aaron Fox. There's the point guard of the future, 6'3" from out of Texas.
One of the finalists for High School Player of the Year right now, one of the final 5.
They say he is flat out super.
And Florida trying to chase all over against the Wildcats here with 2:20 to go, hoping to make another mistake.
See, the great thing when you're going to lead like this, with guard play like Ulis and Murray, it's pretty rare they're going to blow a lead at the end.
And the foul's on Chioza, trying to stay with Tyler Ulis.
Kentucky will get back Willis, and that'll be a big plus for them on the inside. Play LSU.
And the outside, for that matter.
Yep, he can shoot the 3. My brother John's going down to visit Lexington. He's never been there. He's going to be there Thursday, Friday. Going to take a tour with his wife Dee on the campus. John Calipari told me to tell him, John, get over, and I will take a picture with him.
as they wrap up their season with LSU Saturday. Tyler Ulis, 13 points, 11 assists.
You know, people, all rumors. John Calipari, NBA, and he's not leaving Kentucky. Kentucky is such, he loves it down there. They treat him like royalty. The paycheck's pretty good.
I'd say.
And I'll tell you this, Rick Pitino's not going. Anybody rumored him for the NBA, forget about it. He is not going to coach in the NBA. I can flat out tell you that from reliable people. He will not coach in the NBA.
Isaiah Briscoe is going to foul out. With 13 points, good effort tonight by Briscoe.
You know, it's amazing. Look at John Calipari. He is coaching right now, up 12, like 2 minutes on the clock. He is coaching as if they're down 15.
I can tell you one thing that he won't be happy with, that his team gave up 9 dunks to one player.
Yep,
That won't go over big with him.
They'll always find something not to be happy
Yeah,
about.
but I mean, I agree with him on that one.
Yeah. Well, that's their inside play.
Right.
They don't really have. I mean, you don't get those 9 dunks while Willie Cauley-Stein's there and also Mr. Towns. You think about that team they had last year. It was unreal what they achieved, too, to go, 38-0 before they got beat?
Yep. Lost to Wisconsin, the Final Four by 7.
We're going to be honoring Bo Ryan along with Robin Roberts and also Urban Meyer on May 13th for pediatric cancer for the V Foundation. Anybody want more information or want to help us make a donation, go to dickvitaleonline.com.
One of the great parties of the year. Not only for a great cause, but it's just plain great party.
You've been there.
Yes, I have.
You were celebrating with Kenny Chesney when you were at my house.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes.
You and Nancy had a great time.
You said, Brad, go find Kenny. I want him to say a few words. I tracked him down, and he said, wait a minute. I didn't know I had to talk at this thing. Marcus Lee's going to go to the free throw line. This is going to be Florida's 4th loss in a row when it looked about 2 weeks ago like they were a lock for the NCAA tournament.
Well, they got Missouri coming. They got to win that, obviously. And I think they're going to win at least 2 games. 2 games in the tournament.
Missouri won't be in the tournament, but they didn't play that well, particularly well against Missouri the first time they played them. So it could be a team that could give them some trouble. Even late in the year, there were teams in this league that didn't look like they could scare anybody in Nashville, but you can't say that about Mississippi State anymore.
Well, they certainly have improved. Ben Holland certainly knows how to teach defense. They've had some good wins lately.
Allen on the drive is fouled by Hawkins. Kayvon Allen, all 8 of his points came in the first half. Kayvon is a good free throw shooter. So there's a guy that the Gators wish they'd have had at the line most of the other times tonight. He's a 83% free throw shooter, which is 5th best in the conference.
He's had a pretty good year this year for a freshman. He really has.
Yep. I like his stroke.
Yep,
Good
he's
shooter.
going to be a good player here.
2-time Gatorade Player of the Year in Arkansas. And he had a 32-point game against Florida State this year, which was
I did the game.
5th most ever by a Florida freshman.
He's shooting the 3 really well that night.
Inbounds play. Murray in a little trouble with it. Now on the dribble. Draws a foul from Allen. So Jamal Murray will go to the free throw line. 4 threes again tonight. 95 threes for the year, which is an ongoing single season freshman record for Kentucky.
.78% free throw shooter.
Which is in the top 10 in the conference. Here's your top 4 teams, huh?
Yeah, well, I love Michigan State. I think that Michigan State, to me, and I'm not saying that's my Final Four picks, because obviously you're going to look at the draw, etc. I like Xavier to be in that mix, too, even though Seton Hall. You know what I love about school? Seton Hall, Colorado, I think about Pittsburgh. They rose to the occasion. I thought that Florida would do the same here tonight. I really did. I mean, I think Colorado was out and they beat Arizona. Pittsburgh beats Duke. And you got Seton Hall, my alma mater. See, now I said my alma mater. They beat the heck out of Xavier. So, again, you got to rise to the occasion when you get that opportunity.
Florida did for one stretch late in the first half when they went on a 14-4 run to make this very much a game, and then they started the second half strong, cutting the lead to 2. But this guy with 27 points hasn't had enough help tonight for Florida.
Has no help at all. No help at all. When you get an opportunity, you got to take advantage of it. There's a saying that goes, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. They had a chance, had the opportunity, did not take advantage of it on their home floor here in Florida. I got to believe Joe Lunardi, our guy Joe, has got them now out.
What a night for this fella. Man, redshirt sophomore.
And what's great about it, it's back-to-back. He had the good game against LSU as well.
Just a chance for a three-point play. Nonetheless, his best offensive performance by far. And Casey Hill with a foul, and now it becomes a foul fest here for the last 142.
Well, Murray shoots 78%. He was 1 for 6 at the half. He has really got his numbers back up here.
4 field goals, including 3 threes in this second half. He's got 18 on the night. Looking for another 20-point game, which would be the 15th of the season, which is a record for a freshman. Missed that one, though, so he's going to have to wait on the 20. He's had 3 30-point games, 33 against Ohio State and Vanderbilt, and 35 in the first meeting with Florida. And nobody else as a freshman at Kentucky's ever done that.
He's had 8 straight games with 21 or more points. 8 straight games.
Allen missed a 3, as we have said pretty much all night for Florida. And here is Murray trying to head for 20. Lost the handle, but Labissiere found it until Robinson fouled him, and that's going to do it for Devin Robinson.
I'll tell you one thing. Knowing John Calipari, he will sing the praises of Labissiere.
Yes, he will.
And he will really sing his praises and work on his confidence and work on his mentality, because he gave him a positive effort here tonight.
Either that or he's going to say, that's what you should have been doing all year long. One of those two.
Yeah, he won't say that, though. He won't say that, though. John is a master at that. He's great reaching the kids.
Sky Labissiere, 6'11", 255-pound freshman. Came in so highly touted, considered, along with Ben Simmons, to be one of the best freshmen in the country, and he struggled at times, but tonight he went to work on both ends of the floor.
He really did. Moved well without the ball. He's got a nice little touch on the jump shot, but he needs another year of college. I don't care where he's projected in that draft. He goes to the NBA. He's sitting on the pine. He's going to the development league. He loses confidence. He's probably not going to do as well in the development league as well. In terms of his physicality, he needs it. He needs Kentucky more than Kentucky needs him.
Good point. Nice night, though, 11 and 8. And looking to add to it.
It's been fun, buddy. Now we'll hook up down there in the SEC. It's our 25th year. They're going to get some more games together.
We'll hook up in Music City.
Love that place.
Along with Sean Farnham and Shannon Spake and John Sunvold and John Saunders and Kaylee Hartung and the whole crew. Folks are filing out of the O-Dome for what we think is the final time before renovation begins on this building, but you never know, there might be a NIT home game here before they start the destruction or the construction.
Tell you one thing about Jeremy Foley. He'll give his coaches a chance to win. He'll provide all the resources for them.
And again, another foul on Chiozza as he's just chasing Murray down the court. And they're giving Murray every opportunity to hit that 20-point total again. Missed his last 2 free throws.
I'd say he gets it. I'd say he gets it.
Averaging just under 20 points a game.
Nice stroke right there.
Best in the SEC, that 19.9 for freshmen, and second best of any freshman in the country.
You know, look at some of the losses. Kentucky, surprisingly, lost to UCLA by 10. lost to Vandy by 12, got beat by Ohio State by 7. Ohio State really, they hang their hat on a win over Michigan, over Iowa, and over Kentucky. They got 11 wins in the Big Ten, and people say, Joe Lunardi says, no, they're not in. Even if they win their last game, he said, they're not in. They got to go out and beat some people in the tournament. That's hard to believe. But you go and win 11 games in a power conference.
Joe may not make another appearance with us, but I'm sure he will with Mike and Dan in the game, Indiana and Iowa, that follows us if we ever get done here.
What I'd like to ask him, though, if I had him back on, is number one, what about the mid-majors that have had great years? Like you think about Valparaiso, you think about certainly Monmouth. Suppose they lose those teams in their conference tournament. Will they be? Hey, Joe, are you joining us?
I started my seniors every year.
Wave bowling.
Joe's in the bunker, but he's talking to the guys in the studio, I think, right now. We got a timeout with 1:04 remaining. And Kentucky in command. Now we're going to try Joe again. Joe,
how you doing, guys?
Good.
Hey, Joe, I want to ask you something, Joe. Not so much SEC, even though we all know. I don't need Joe Lunardi's prediction to tell me right now that Florida is out after this game. But let me just tell you this. What about teams like Monmouth, Valparaiso, Arkansas, Little Rock? These teams have had phenomenal years all year. If they don't win their conference championship, is there a chance they still could be in the Big Dance?
If it were up to me, Dick, I would always favor the high-achieving mid-majors over what we would call middling majors. In fact, I'd pass a rule that you have to be at least 500 in your conference, including conference tournament games, to be at-large eligible. All of the data shows that winning begets winning, and a lot of these teams, in Florida included, all they've really proven is that they can lose to good teams. They haven't necessarily beaten enough to keep out the likes of a Monmouth, which won against Notre Dame, which won against Southern Cal, or even Little Rock, which won on the road at San Diego State and Tulsa. I don't think the world ends if we have 7 teams from a power conference instead of 8.
I agree with you. I think that's so true. What about Ohio State now beating like they did Iowa? They got Kentucky they beat. They have 11 wins now in conference play. You still think, I read a quote or so, you still think they have to win their last game plus a game or 2 in the tournament?
I just think they don't have enough quality wins yet, and the reason is the unbalanced schedule in these power conferences. The leagues are too big, Dick, and we don't get true champions, and we don't get a true pecking order like we do, for instance, in the Big 12, where everyone plays everyone else home and away.
Joe, if Florida, they're going to lose this game, were they to beat Missouri and then go deep in the SEC tournament in Nashville, does that change your mind on them or not?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot can happen, and a lot will happen next week, but certainly trending in the wrong direction. I think in the case of the Gators, their numbers always looked a little inflated to me over the course of the season, and I think the schedule has just caught up with them.
Let me ask you this, Joe. Who are your number 1 seeds right now?
In order, I would go Kansas, Villanova, and for the moment, the 2 ACC teams, UVA and UNC. But I fully expect one of them to drop as we pass through the ACC tournament, and Michigan State to eventually move up if they can reach the finals in the Big Ten.
Well, you beat me to the punch. See, Paisan, you beat me. I was ready to scream at you. Michigan State, Tom Izzo.
Well, here's the thing, Dick. They're 2 games behind in their own league right now. North Carolina is winning its league. And if you take a look historically, you won't find many runners-up, particularly multiple game runners-up, like Michigan State would be today, making it to the top line. But that's why we have championship week.
I'll tell you one thing, this guy knows his stuff. Joe, go out right now, send me the bill, have some rigatoni, a little meatballs, a little marinara.
All right, Joe, have a good one. I know you're moving on to the Iowa-Indiana game, and we will move on to that shortly as well. 36.9 remaining here. And Kentucky en route to being 22-8. And they will be 12-5. And for at least the time being, take a half-game lead on Texas A&M atop the SEC standings. Florida's going to fall now. They're in that big group of 500 teams, and they're going to slip under that at 8-9 and fall to 17-13 overall. and this will be their 4th straight loss. So, you know, about 3 weeks ago, Florida was looking pretty good and as kind of a hot team, and they're not anymore. Here's the standings updated as of 37 seconds from now. Kentucky 12-5. Texas A&M right on their shoulder. Vanderbilt has won tonight. They blew out Tennessee, so they're only a game back, and they're playing as well as anybody. They've won 4 straight. And then it's South Carolina and LSU. And LSU is playing, well, they're already started, I think, in their game right now. And there's the rest of the 8-8s and 8-9s. So it's going to be interesting next week.
See, I can't see honor and mediocrity, like he said, over teams that are 25-3, 25-4. I just can't see it. I really don't. And I look at Monmouth, for example, as he said so well. And he also beat Georgetown. They beat certainly Wichita State, was without Van Fleet, but they beat Wichita State, Notre Dame, and Southern Cal. Monmouth belongs in the tournament.
Well, Florida just making this
an uglier game than
an uglier game than it already was.
Hey, you're going to be doing one of the Southern Conference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
going to Asheville. You're going to Vegas, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to Vegas with Brent Musburger, and Fanny Frischella's going to be out there as well. I'm going to do a semifinal and final game. Should be a lot of fun. And I'm going to see Celine Dion.
I figured you'd see Celine Dion while you're out there. That crossed my mind when I heard you were going to Vegas. Yeah.
I saw Josh Groban the other day. Wow, he's terrific.
Got a voice just like yours, doesn't he?
His voice. I went backstage with him. It's really just unbelievable. Murray missing his free throws.
Yeah, a little bit tired maybe. Hard to say, or not focusing. But again, he has hit 20 straight. Dorian Finney-Smith just taken out by Mike White. This is senior night for him, his last game barring an NIT game here. So the fans that remain give him a standing ovation. He's been a really good player here.
Yeah, as you said well early, he's really been a major contributor. 2 years ago, as you said, he was the 6th man of the year.
And there's another 3 from Kayvon Allen. They could have used a whole bunch of those earlier. And Casey Hill with a foul will send Tyler Ulis back to the free throw line with 28.2 remaining.
No one knows how to change this, because at the end of the game, it becomes absolutely ugly and boring and just unreal. And they've tried everything to try and get rid of this, where, you know, it just becomes a foul, go to the foul line. Some people, you know, they've tried the 2 shots and the ball.
So Tyler Ulis has hit 6 of his last 7 from the free throw line.
Piling up those numbers right now. Tyler Ulis. I came down from my All-America team, to be honest with you, between Tyler and Chris Dunn of Providence, who is terrific, is rated very high by the NBA people. And when I looked at the point production and what he's done for this team, distributing the ball, point production, I had to give him the edge. And Chris is a member of my 2nd team.
Florida looks like they're going to finally back off here in the final 15 seconds as Murray brings it into the front court, and the Wildcats will have.
He's saying foul me so I can get a couple more points. Foul me, I want to go to the line.
22nd win of the year for Kentucky, 12-5 in the SEC. Trying to win their 47th SEC regular season title. They win it on the road, 88-79. Coming up, Super Tuesday presented by Hotels.com continues with Indiana taking on Iowa. For Dick Vitale, Shannon Spake, and our entire ESPN crew from the O-Dome, Brad Nessler, good night.